What we do here is go back. What we do here is go back.
Not sure if that's worked. Oh, it's focusing on the case. Damn it. Never mind. Hopefully this is working. Is it live? Hopefully it is. Is that live? Yep. Says it's live. That would work for me. Good evening everyone, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and welcome to Saturday night stream. It is the 3rd of July 2021, and for those of you that are joining us that have torn yourself away from the football tonight, for those of you in England, thank you very much for joining us. It's probably going to be a quiet one here tonight. I can hear, we've got the windows open. It's currently kind of thundery and raining here in southwest of England, but we can hear there's a pub not too far away from us, and every now and then we can hear some occasional cheers, so it does seem that our boys are doing pretty well at the moment from what I can tell, so hopefully that keeps going. And to those on the other side, well, there can only be one winner. What can I say? So tonight's stream we're going to be talking about micro-atx, the unloved stepchild of the PC industry. I'm not too sure why it is. I kind of got some inklings. Micro-atx back in the day was always kind of second fiddle, cheaper, not quite so nice, not very good layouts, cooling wasn't always particularly great, and quite often they lacked style, for want of a better word. So we've been relatively lucky over the last few years. Things have improved, and to be honest with you, most ATX cases have generally just been shrunken down into the micro-atx form factor. Some of the more high profile versions of that would be something like the Lian Li 011. So that obviously started off as a big case, and then they come out with the smaller version of it. It wasn't necessarily micro-atx, but it would do micro-atx essentially, plus other sizes, but it was a more condensed version. Also, Fantex done the same sort of thing, so you've had things like the P400, which was then reduced down in size. Also, Cooler Master did quite a few as well. So we had the Masterbox 5 series, we had the Masterbox 3 series. although probably best we don't talk about those too much, as they were a little bit on the disappointing side. If any of you have been with the channel long enough to remember my experiences with the Masterbox Lite 3.1. Oh, I just hear some more cheers. Maybe that's 3 now. Who knows? If you haven't already, we are running a poll. So if you're watching this live, there is a poll. If you look over on the chat, you'll see there's options for what you think the outcome of tonight's match is going to be, whether it's going to be a win for England, whether it's not, whether it's going to be a draw, or if, like quite a lot of people who are probably watching this, just purely do not care. So do get involved and let us know what you think. At the moment, yes is ahead at 59% of the votes. So we'll see how that tallies up. At the moment, obviously, with it being 3-0, then the kind of writing's on the wall a little bit there. So yeah, we'll see how that progresses through the night. What we will be doing tonight, we'll be looking at a new case, well, relatively new. It's more of a redesign. So this, as you can see at the moment on the screens, hopefully, in its glory, is the first Player Gaming DK-D3-A. Little bit of a mouthful, so I'll probably refer to it as the DK-A or D3, or I'll probably make up some names as we go along, as you do. So this essentially is based very much around the same chassis as the Kolink Citadel. Both the Kolink Citadel mesh, the ARGB, and there's a couple of other versions of the Citadel. They all work around the same kind of chassis layout, which we'll take a closer look at as we go through tonight's stream. I think it's actually one of the best micro-ATX design cases there is on the market. The main difference we've got with these is essentially the fans that are included, the fan hubs that are included, and also that front panel. So you can probably see already, but I'll tilt it up anyway. So the front panel on this one, as you can probably make out, is a single fan solution. So we've got mesh on the front, and behind there is a 200mm ARGB fan. So it's a pretty distinctive look. So if you're looking for a pretty small case to fit in a smaller place, or maybe you just want to save money on a micro-ATX motherboard and you want a small case to go with it, but you don't want to break the bank, which is what I think a lot of people who watch this channel are very interested in, saving a little bit of money where they can, but not really sacrificing too many features, but getting value for money. I think this case at the moment, this retails around about the £35 to £40 mark here in the UK. I think it's a great price, I really do. That is, for me, the real sweet spot for PC cases. Any more than 40 quid, there's got to be something worth going for. Less than 30 quid, you start making some serious sacrifices. Certainly things like Seam at Night's favourite, the CIT-F3, which he loves very, very much. And actually, we did a review on that ages and ages ago, pretty much when the channel started out, I think it was. And actually, I like the CIT-F3. It's kind of not got much better with age, and it certainly has a very dated look to it. So with things like this, only costing, in some instances, maybe £5 more, maybe £10 more, this offers a ton more flexibility. Obviously tempered glass as well we've got on the side, so turn it around, you can see we've got tempered glass side panel, which I've conveniently left with the coverings on, because otherwise Kath gets caught up in all the reflecto porn and she's not happy with that at all. But I think this is a really nice case. It's got a swing open side panel as well, which is on this, which actually this is the one downside of this case. Getting the actual hook out the side, if you're someone who bites their nails, you've got no chance. Not going to come out. I need something to lever it with. Screwdriver is probably a bad idea. Oh, Kath's going to get involved. Go on, Kath. It's just off screen, so you're all right. Thank you very much. So we have got a huge, totally swinging baby, swinging glass side panel. So that goes all the way around, giving you an absolute ton of room to work with, to play around with. Also got options in here for vertical mount GPUs if you want to, horizontal mount. You've got a 140mm fan in the rear, which is addressable RGB also. So 200mm up front, 140 in the back. This thing is built for cooling, it really is. The mesh on the front is relatively open as well, as you can probably see. In actual fact, if I take this side panel off, it does come off, so you can take it off to keep it out of the way to save getting damaged or anything when you're doing building. But there it is. You can probably just about see, it is cavernous in there. It really is. There's an absolute ton of room. You're looking at, I think it was 190mm depth. So yeah, that's probably is about right. So about 50mm for the IO shield, 140mm fan, so you can fit coolers in here of up to around about 190mm. So even that new one from Noctua, the big chunk of metal, you could actually fit in there pretty easily and still have a little bit of wiggle room, which is insane. Things like the Noctua D15, that'll fit in there, absolute piece of cake. Pretty much any of the big coolers, the Gelid, the Black Phantom, that'll fit in there easily. Any of the 120mm tower coolers, again, no problem at all. Even if you want to put a 14 centimeter fan on there, absolute piece of cake. So absolute ton of room to work with in here, and loads of nice features, especially on the front there, that 200mm cooling fan, which is absolutely insane. And a lot of it isn't actually blocked off by the panel behind it either. So we'll take a look at that in more detail as we go on. The reason why I've actually got this is we have got a PC which we're trying to sell at the moment, or not trying to sell, because if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it would be nice to kind of pass it on to let someone get a use of it. So in the video description, you'll probably see already, there was a link to our Facebook page where it's actually for sale on. And actually, we could take a look at that now. I should also as well say hello to the lovely people that are in the chat. And who we have got Ugly Bob. Ugly Bob was in early doors. Also, Ugly Bob scared the bejesus out of me. I was setting up the stream, connected to the monitor, and I was just plugging in the cable to the back of the monitor, and it's literally over where the disc Google is, which is down there. And as I was plugging it in, Bob sent a super chat off, and the light went off and scared me to death. I thought something was blown up, but luckily it was just incoming money. So yeah, we can make allowances for that. That's absolutely fine. Who else have we got with us tonight? So we have got, oh, there's loads of chat there. Mark Berry is with us. Good evening, Mark. Who else is there? Jad 2016 says, all right, I'm here now after watching the first half. Hope you enjoyed it. Jason Wood says, Mike, are starting the live video before the second half? Yeah. Unfortunately, well, it's difficult to schedule anything these days. There's always something going on in our lives, whether it's something personal, whether it's working the next day, or whether it's football. There's always something going on, so yeah.
Won't be one next week, though.
Yes, actually we should say, yeah, there won't be a stream next week. We have got family stuff which we will be tending to, so yeah, sadly no stream next week, I'm afraid. Well, I'm pretty sure there won't be. Unless something crazy happens, there won't be a stream next week, so yeah. If you're wondering where I am next week, I'm not here. William Bodie's with us, says England will win. I think they probably will. Welly Bob says evening, I will join after the game, no problem. Jason Wood says I'm using my TV from my PC, so I'll be checking in every so often, no problem. Callum's with us as well. Who else have we got? Nick Barnes says evening, Kath, Mike and everybody. Hi Nick, how you doing? Rick Hartzer says hello everyone. Aletta, the lovely Aletta, says hello all. John Sullivan's with us as usual. Kieran Atkinson says, yay, the normal music is back. Shh, don't tell IKEA. He'll be upset. He probably doesn't care less, to be honest with you. Who else we got? Kenny D, we said, I think. Matthew Day says, right, what's Matthew Day got to eat today? Microwave chicken burger and a squished choux pastry. I'm on a slight health kick at the moment, or at least I'm trying to. It's a difficult thing to do, but I am trying to. Everybody, we should be considering our health, especially in this mad world we are at the moment. So currently I am trying to cut out sugar and lots of junk food, which I normally consume. So we're, what, is this 2 weeks now, Kath, or is it third week? Second week. So this is the second week, it feels like a lot longer. Yeah, end of the second week and it feels like a lot longer. So what I'm doing is I'm eating a sensible evening meal, but during the day I'm just eating like apple, banana, and we're making our own fruit juices from the raw ingredients. We're not buying like cartons or kind of that kind of fakery stuff, you know, where you buy apple juice and it's like 3% apple juice, 1% water, and the rest of it's all sugar. I'm not having any of that. And I think the last couple of days I'm actually starting to detox a little bit. So my skin's breaking out. I feel like I'm getting a bit nasal, coldy, phlegmy, coughing out stuff. So it's not the dreaded thing. Well, I don't think it is. Who knows? Could be. But starting to feel a bit better. Lost a bit of weight. Lost almost well, just shy of 3/4 of a stone in 2 weeks, which is actually pretty decent going, although, to be fair, there was quite a bit to lose, so it does start dropping off. Although it didn't at first. Obviously, at the moment, my body is kind of getting sugars from fruits and that, but they're obviously better sugars than what they are for refined sugars from sweets, chocolate, biscuits, ice cream, all that usual crap that I just shovel down my neck, which is not good. And especially when you get to a certain time of your life, you want to try and minimise that stuff if you possibly can. So yeah, trying to be a bit more healthy, having things like jacket potatoes with beans and cheese and just normal stuff, trying to avoid some processed foods as well, and feeling much better. One of the other things we're doing as well is we are drinking filtered water, proper filtered water, not like Brita filtered water, proper filtered water from our British Berkey, which is, well, it's not British Berkey, it's British Berkfield or Beckfled or whatever it's called, but it's an awesome water filter. We've got a video coming out on that very shortly, so do check it out. If you want to drink nice, clean, pure water, but you don't want to spend absolute fortune, it's a very good option. And definitely feeling the health benefits already. Feel a little bit more like my old self, which is yeah, long overdue, because I've been feeling crap since this whole kind of global pandemic thing's been going around, and probably a bit before that, because I've let my health go a little bit. So yeah, hopefully now we're on the up, feeling better, or at least starting to feel better, losing a bit of weight, which is always a good thing. And like they say on the t-shirts, which you're not allowed to wear anymore, nothing tastes like skinny feels. There goes my YouTube monetization. So anyway, let's move on. I've probably gone a little bit too much there. So JX Jammy says hi. Hey, how you doing? Sir Soppy of Balls says good evening. Good evening to you, Mr. Soppy Balls. Who else we got? Oh, sorry, Aletta says no food talk. I haven't eaten a bite all day. Ah, that's sorry. Is that case causing confusion on the old thing? Sorry.
Hand waving.
Hand waving.
You always do that.
Notice anything different about the lighting? The lighting, Kath is an absolute lighting genius. Normally I'd have the lights basically blasting onto me, and it didn't do very well for the camera, but I think now the lighting looks a little bit nicer, a little bit softer. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm pretty pleased. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. We've got a big roller blind now, like a blackout blind, which is kind of creamy white. So we're bouncing the studio light off of that back onto me, so it's a much softer, more diffused light. The one over that side is kind of angled well away from me, so I can literally kind of just see a slither of light, but that's bouncing light around this back section. So I've got a little bit of light coming from here. Oh, actually, forgot. That should be on. There's a copyright strike already for using Nintendo's licensed stuff. Anyway, moving on. I'm digressing. So yeah, let me know what you think about the quality of the actual video. I think it looks pretty damn sharp. I'm looking at the OBS on there. Also helping as well is a dark theme in Windows 11. We probably will talk about Windows 11 at some point later on. I know some of you are going to want to see, or at least hear about it. Sky Stalker is with us, says, hey people, how you doing, Sky? Hopefully you're doing better and feeling, well, hopefully you're feeling considerably better, because you were not great, let's be honest. So hopefully you're winging your way to recovery. Kenny D says, not even much of a footy fan. I've got to be honest with you, when it comes to football in general, like kind of like the weekend matches and that, not interested at all really. But when it comes down to the things like the Euros or the World Cup, I am somewhat of a patriot. I love my country. Some people may say that makes me, puts me into a certain category of person, but hey, I love my country, and if we're in a kind of global event or a European event, then hey, why not? I'm going to support my country and I'm going to be proud of them.
4-0 then.
Kath just said it's 4-0. Unbelievable. I did say it was going to be 5-0. That was my prediction. I did actually, as Bob suggested, I have been rubbing the old Kolink to get some good luck and get some positive vibes. So rub, if you're wearing your Kolink right now, give it a rub and hope that England do well. We are not to now. Ross Grimshaw, I apologise, says hello. Wild Bill says, greetings Kath and Mike, peace. How you doing, Wild Bill? Bob says 2-0 now, so that must have been ages ago. Mark MC says 2-0, hi everybody. How you doing, Mark? Kieran Atkinson says, that case looks edgy. Is that a good thing? I don't think I'm quite young enough to quite know what edgy means. I'd imagine that's a good thing. I'm hoping it's a good thing. Ugly Bob says, that case looks like a bloody transformer. I actually said when I did the review, I've actually done a review of this already and an unboxing and all that, which will be coming out in the coming days. But looking at the front of it, that has got, to me, a definite kind of, well, maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. It's somewhere in between the, what was that game with Gordon Freeman? Half-Life. It's got a kind of Half-Life turret look to it. It's also got a little bit of Iron Man-esque look to it, especially when the fan's lit up. And yeah, it's got a little bit transformery as well. It's definitely different. Definitely different. I'm not too sure whether I'd have preferred to have seen the front on it the same as the Kolink Citadel mesh. That has got a really nice front to it. But this, I think, is a little bit different. But again, for 35 quid, I wasn't going to complain too much. I think it still looks really, really nice. Where are we? Markovsky says, good evening, Mike and Kath and all. While Bill says, was watching a fantastic Austrian F1 qualifier. Oh, hopefully our man's doing well in that as well. Aletta says, I only like full towers, the bigger the better. You'll probably like the new, what was it? Is it the 7000D or 5000D or whatever the crazy thing is from Corsair now, which has come out, which is absolutely huge. Matthew Barton says, I would love a micro-ATX version of the 4000D. I think, yeah, the 4000D would make a very good candidate for that. I'm surprised that they went with the larger version rather than the smaller version. I think for the current market, the way it is, micro-ATX boards at the moment are really, really cheap. I actually picked up another micro-ATX board today, which I don't really need, but I wanted to do a review on it, and it was like £33 for a 500 series motherboard with 4 RAM slots, micro-ATX. Like, what's there not to like about that? 33 quid, so there's going to be a review coming up of that soon, which potentially might end up in either in this case or the Tecware Nexus M, which is what this is kind of all about. So, yeah, did I mention already? Did I say why it hasn't sold? I went off on one, and I said hello to people. We'll get onto that in a minute. Where are we? Ugly Bob. Let's see, is there anyone else I haven't said hello to? I think we're pretty much caught up now. Oh, Nick Barnes says, question, are the fans 3-pin or 4-pin? They're actually 5-pin, which is one of the downsides, or potential downsides. For me, I don't think it is a downside, but we'll discuss that in a little bit more depth later. Markovsky says, I'm looking for a 37X for £170 if anyone sees one. Yeah, same here. I would quite like that also. Right, okay, so let me go into my other screen here just for one moment, and we'll kind of go into some depth now about why this has all come about. Now, I really like micro-ATX. I like the space saving, I like the cost saving, definitely, because obviously cheaper motherboards, cheaper case because there's less parts, less metal, less plastic.
Will an ATX M fit in? No.
Will ATX M? Yes, it should do. I think ATX M or yeah, ATX Micro ATX, ATX M, Mini ATX. They're all kind of like the same thing. The only real difference is you've got ATX, which is the larger one. Well, technically you've got eATX, which is kind of like a weird spec, which is a little bit bigger than ATX. Then you've got ATX, which is like the standard. Then you've got Micro ATX, and then you've got ITX. And some of the boards kind of spill into others' territories slightly, especially with Micro ATX. Some of them kind of get a little bit wider when you have more memory slots, that kind of thing. But generally, they are in those kind of 3/4 categories. So extended ATX or eATX, ATX, Micro ATX, and ITX. There are one or two other specs as well, but they're probably not really worth talking about. Oh yeah, John Sullivan says then you have Dell's own one as well. Yeah, that is very true. Dell is Dell. Right, I'm going to go on to Facebook Marketplace now, and we'll take a look at the PC that we've been trying to sell. Now, this PC's been on for sale, I think, for 2 months now, which in this particular climate at the moment is a little bit insane. I'm just making sure that None of my personally identifiable information is in there. I don't think it is. No, we should be absolutely fine there. So what one is number 3? Windows Desktop, is that the one? There we go, bada bing. So there is the, that's the PC in the Nexus M case. So specification wise, Ryzen 3 3100, standard, what's it called? Standard stock fan, 16 gigs of RAM, which is the Clev. Nice bit of Clev RAM at DDR4 3600, 2x8 gigs to dual channel. Motherboard is a MSI B550 Pro VDH Wi-Fi gaming board. So actually a really nice little board. Power supply, yeah, probably not best to say too much about it, but it's the Cylon 500 watt. Absolutely fine, especially for this level of system. You've got a Asus RX 460 in there, 2 gig, which I think is possibly one of the downsides. And the hard disk drive in there, or sorry, the SSD, I think if I remember rightly, is one of the Intenso, the 512 gigabyte M.2 drives SSD. So it's actually like a reasonable little system, really. All of it is pretty much brand new, apart from the graphics card, which I bought from the CX. So, yeah, it's got the old wallpaper there as well, so you can tell how long ago it was. I did also install 3 of these Tecware fans, which are the Tecware F1s, I believe they were. And if I go through, show you pictures, so there you go. It's got a flat front panel, which I actually think is quite stylish, but I know what the current market is like, what people want. Everybody wants mesh and RGB. So there's a bit of RGB in it, not a great deal. And there's a look at the components. Yeah, you can tell how long ago it was. We've even got the Superman sign up still. So yeah, Cylon 500 watt power supply, Orbis F3 fans, got the Intenso M.2 drive, MSI B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi, Ryzen 3 3100, and that Radeon graphics. All of it's got boxes as well, so everything's boxed. Essentially, most of it is brand new. The power supply, the RAM, the motherboard, the CPU, the M.2 drive, obviously the case. The only thing that isn't brand spanking new is the graphics card. So I listed it up originally for £400, which if you work out the prices, is essentially pretty much what I paid for it. So I wasn't making anything, I wasn't losing anything, and in the current market it should have been worth more. So that was, yeah, that's the system. You see there, got my name. That's the, oh, so that's the date, yeah, 29th for the 4th. So it is 29th for the 5th, 29th, yeah, so that's 2 months, isn't it? 2 months and a couple of days. So that has been on for ages. Yeah, listed 9 weeks ago, it says they're in Bristol, England, as you can see. So, yeah, it's a nice little system. All pretty much brand new. All, well, I was going to say professionally built, but I built it, but you get the idea. So, good stuff. All the boxes included. You can see it's got Wi-Fi. So, for those people that ask, has it got Wi-Fi? Has it got Bluetooth? Has it got this? Has it got that? Taken pictures of it all, so it's all nicely laid out. You can see the graphics card in detail, what it is, the spec of the PC, etc. And people say, what games will it run? We went through and we actually did some games when we did the build on it. So it's not as if this PC is junk. It's a nice little PC, as hopefully you can tell from the pictures. I think the pictures tell a pretty good story. Obviously the graphics card is going to be hampering it quite a bit. And it does seem that people kind of, if it is an NVIDIA card in there, I think it would have sold, which I probably should have done, to be fair. So let's take a look at the case. So that is the Nexus M. This is what we're comparing against. So you can see there, it's 35 quid. And mesh top, solid front, a little bit of ventilation. Reasonably good to work with, as again, some of you probably seen in the stream that we did already. That front panel is solid though. So I think that's what has put off a lot of people. You can put 3 fans in the front if you want to. Clearly we chose not to. So something needed to change. We need to sell it. So we took a look at this. So ages ago we were looking at First Player, and actually they got in touch with us, and we were going to do some work with them to see if we could promote their gear. It did seem to be around the time when the whole human malware thing kicked off. So that came to a very abrupt end, because they are, I believe, I'm not sure if they're Taiwan or Korea, I think they might be Korea. So all the shipping and stuff like that is completely gone to pot. So nothing was coming across. And First Player, they actually did the DKD3, the original version, which essentially was the Citadel mesh. But it was a bit more expensive. So now they come down to like £36 with free delivery on Amazon, as you can see. There's the front view with that fan lit up. And there's the side view, pretty decent side view. Again, you've got that side opening glass panel, make nice and easy access to it. Fully wrap around so you can get in there and do your cable management and stuff. And on the top, one of the really nice features that I like is the fact you've got this really, really wide top section. So you can mount in here a 240 or a 280mm AIO and not actually interfere with the motherboard's ARGB, all that kind of stuff, which you can kind of make out there in that top section. There's a ton of room between the top of the motherboard and where the AIOs would be, and it's offset as well.
Has it got a front USB-C?
It doesn't have a front USB-C, which is a little bit of a letdown, but again, 35 quid for a case. There you can see the I/O. So we're looking at a single USB 3.0, two USB 2.0, you've got a separate mic and headphone jack, and you've got a LED button to switch through the LED cycles. You've got obviously the reset button, and you've got your power button and your hard drive LED, etc, etc.
Has it got TPM2?
Has it got TPM2? It will have if you put the board in there.
No, yours.
Oh, has it got TPM? Yes, it has. But pretty much every PC I've got has got TPM 2.0, I think. Apart from possibly CAFs because of the processor. But the board would take it. Yeah, CAF refuses to have it. No Windows 11 in CAF's machine. Okay, so that is, yeah, that is it. Actually, I don't want to see that because that is our ball head thing we're looking at again. So essentially, yeah, you get the general idea. Between those two cases, let me know what you think. Which one would you prefer, the Nexus M Black or the DKD3-A? I think it's a night and day difference between them, but at the same price. I think it's madness. So Kenny D's already saying I would take the DKD3, so that's a positive there. And Ugly Bob says DKD3. Markovsky says, well, it's upgradable. I'd put that on the advert as a sales feature. 2 months ago, that wasn't even a thing. It was just so far from people's minds. But yeah, maybe I should add that it is TPM 2.0 compliant. Maybe even put Windows 11 on it and sell it as a Windows 11 PC. So Mark Berry saying the DKD3. Wild Bill says DKW. I guess and that's DK. Sorry? WKD. Wild Bill wants a WKD quick. Give the man a drink. Matthew Day says, did the other even have fans? No, it didn't as standard. As standard, the Nexus M comes with nothing. Now there is a couple of versions. There's a red version, which some people may appreciate. It's very much NZXT look-alike. And then there's a black on white, which does take the price up a little bit. So like nearly 43 quid. So, oh, and there's the VXR. So if anyone's asking, what's the case behind you, Mike? Is that one. Tecware's VXR ATX. I do love that case. Huge, absolutely huge. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm digressing. So yeah, between the two, obviously, seeing that this hasn't got included fans, it's a no-brainer. It really is. So anyway, you can see my predicament. Although I did think I tucked it away. Sorry, can't help myself. So let's take a look at this 200mm fan on the front. The front panel comes off relatively easily, which I always say it never does. Oh, I just love the sound of snapping plastic. It is on there pretty well. So as you can see from the panel there, so you've got this nice mesh, which you can use as protection. So when the zombie apocalypse comes, you can actually strap this to your head and use it as protection with relatively good visibility from most angles, including your periphery, where the zombies may actually come from. So that's really handy.
What about you wear it the other way?
What way? The long ways?
Yeah.
So that's like a welding mask then, and my nose gets in the way. My fault for having a big nose, I suppose.
Doesn't it get in the way the other way?
No, strangely, because those lumps hit my head. There's a little bit of a gap there. It's a chin gap. That works much better. Anyway, so you've got a relatively open mesh on the front, which is actually a good thing. Now, a lot of people are probably going to say straight away, oh my God, it's got no dust filter. That is the beauty of having 200mm fans. So if you've ever had a PC which has got 200mm fans, you'll notice one thing. Well, two things. One, they're very quiet. Two, they don't pull in a huge amount of air or dust. Because they use a much slower rotational speed, because obviously it is a much bigger fan, so this can spin at around about 600 RPM and move roughly about the same amount of air as a 120mm would at 1000 RPM, that kind of thing. So it doesn't have to spin very fast, and the reason why you get dust into your PC, especially some of the larger bits, is purely because obviously dust is falling all the time in the sky. If you imagine it's falling, and the fans are spinning. So because that's not got a huge amount of positive pressure or static pressure, the dust that are falling down, the particles, are less likely to get drawn into that front section. Now with the slightly wider mesh as well, that doesn't hinder the 200mm fan. That still can do what it needs to do because of that low static pressure. But again, it's also a barrier against that dust. So you definitely get a dust build up on probably the front of the mesh there. But most of the dust won't actually go through to the inside of the PC. Now, I did find that with the Lian Li 215. That was a very similar deal because the mesh was it's a little bit finer than that, but it actually come out from the fans a little bit more, and we had those bigger fans up front and they were spinning slower. It didn't really get that dusty in there, which was awesome. So that is something, if you are concerned about dust, if you're in a very, very fine dust environment, like powder dust, so if this is going to be in like a kid's bedroom and they're going crazy with the Lynx anti-deodorant, that tiny little particle size is perfect because that's going to go in there very easily. But for most people, normal household dust, debris, little tiny bits of, I don't know, skin, nails, whatever is kind of around, it's less likely to get in there, especially things like larger fabric, fibers, that sort of stuff. Generally, they're going to avoid this or they're going to get stuck on that front mesh. The very, very small particulate, obviously, is going to go through there. But having said that, because there isn't a great deal of static pressure because of that fan on the back, and also you've got this solid section here, actually in the case, which, oh, we're out of focus again, darn it. Calf. What is that with the focus on this camera? Is it broken? Let's try the button on the top. There we go, boom, and we're back in the room. So, the bottom section, which actually you probably can't see that well because of the lighting. That is one downside about this lighting now. Ah, there we go, there's a much better angle. So you can see it's got a solid basement section. So if there is dust coming in, which is brought in by that fan on the front, literally it's just going to be a case of swinging open that door, give it a wipe along the whole thing, it's it, you're pretty much done. Again, because that's not going to be blowing through at a particularly high rate, then the dust is going to kind of settle down here. It's not going to be pulled into the rest of the system very much, which I appreciate. I really do like it. I think this is a great little case. Let's talk about some of the downsides. So downside wise, well, that's bent then. The fan in the rear, the 140mm there, it does kind of block if you want to put a vertical GPU. So if we show you from, actually I've got my other camera, which hopefully will be working. Hey, there we go. So if we look at the back here, you can see the fan is literally on that angle there, where the GPU cutout is. So where's that? Which way? There we go. So looking at that, if you do want to use a vertical mount GPU, which you can do because there is a bit of decent room there, you are going to have to ditch that fan, unfortunately, because that just is going to be in the way. So that is one downside for vertical mounting. The PCI Express blanking plates are all captive ones, so you're going to have to bend those out and snap them out just to get rid of them, which isn't ideal. Cable management wise.
Will it take the notch of 200mm?
No, that's one thing it won't do. It won't take the Noctua 200mm. I have tried that. Oh, let me move that right there. So cable management options, decent options in the bottom, in those two places there. So one down in this corner, one down there, and also a bit of room at the front for cable management for a radiator. Pass-throughs there, a couple of pass-throughs at the top, and obviously got the mesh in there as well. There's a pass-through just there, and also in there. So cable management is going to be really easy with it. And again, the radiator is massively offset, as you can see. We've got a decent amount of offset there. Now if you look at where the I/O is, the I/O panel there, so yeah, decent amount of offset. Even if you've got RAM which is as high as your I/O, then you should be okay. So yeah, pretty decent. Let's take a look at something which is not quite so decent, which is, ow, that hurt my finger. See, the case is attacking me already because I said I didn't like something. Markovsky says, I like those fans. I like both those fans, good. Yeah, the Noctua fans still won't fit. I still haven't found a case yet that fits those Noctua 200mm fans. I did try it. Sadly, the Noctua case fans are way too big, but that was a plan. So this comes with, as you can already see, let's angle that down a little bit. Can I go down? Yeah, there we go. So you've got this magnetic hub for the RGB fans, and sadly it is powered by the dreaded Molex. Not good, but it's the other one. So on the back you've got magnets, so you can stick it on the back there. You can stick it underneath in the hard drive tray, which is under there. Stick it on there. That works out pretty decent. But the connectors are these 5-pin ones, which hopefully you can just about see. So you've got 5-pin connectors. You can connect actually a bizarre amount of fans and headers to this. So you can connect 8 fans, but they do have to be the ones with this 5-pin style connection. Now Aletta's probably already screaming, saying, first thing I'd do is cut those up and convert them. Yeah?
She's put I heart Molex.
I heart Molex. Nice. So up to 8 fans on this control box, plus 2 RGB strips, or addressable RGB strips. I still haven't found any which have got that type of connection on them, so they probably do exist somewhere. You also have a pass-through for your 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB. So you can connect that to your motherboard and synchronize it all from there. But as far as actual space is concerned, and for putting a build in there, got a decent amount of room. Cable management wise, you've got a little bit of depth there, as you can see. And there's quite a few tie down points. You've got some tie down points at the front there, got some along here, at the top, down the bottom. You can tuck a cable in here easily. I think it's a really decent design. I really do like it. Considering the price again, it is insane what you can actually get for the money. It really is. So I'm actually really looking forward to doing a little build in this. And I will be using the fans, the stock fans. I'm not going to bother putting anything else in there. I just want to go what it is. Now, I know I keep on saying it, there is another slight downside to this case. And that is actually the fans. So the fans themselves, this one in the rear, the 140mm, is sadly a static RPM. So that will spin all the time at, I estimate, about 800 to 900 RPM. Doesn't make any noise. It's very, very quiet. If you want to hear what it's like, I can actually put a power supply in here and light it up if you wish. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to do that. And the front fan is exactly the same. So that again is a static RPM.
Captain, you would like you to have Kenny G playing in the background.
Kenny G. I can't do it. The front fan is going to be spinning at, oh, that looks cool. I'll do that again. The fan at the front is going to be spinning at what I estimate to be around about I'm thinking it's about 600 RPM, maybe 700, but again, it is essentially silent. It's not silent, but you can't hear it over other things. Like, I've got the PC behind me. I can definitely hear that louder than what I can hear this when this is actually powered up. So again, if you want to see what the, if you want me to show you what the fans look like when it's all connected up, I can quickly put a power supply in. Kath can shout out bang, and you lot can all piss yourselves. You probably won't. You probably don't find it very amusing. I don't. I got to be honest with you, because it does. I think every time Kath does that, I lose a few hours of my life.
Jonas says, is this case using the same frame as the Kolink Citadel?
Yes. Yes, Jonas, it is using the exact same frame as the Kolink Citadel. The mesh version, the ARGB, they all use the same kind of, the same look. But I think it looks like a very, very competent case. For 35 quid, it's madness, it really is. Big fan, you can see there's not a lot blocking the airflow path. You have got those frames there, but normally most of your kind of airflow is going to be around those outer edges. That's trippy, that fan, isn't it? Ooh, trippy! So, anyway, I'm getting a bit carried away now, so let's put the other thing on. Yay, we're still in focus. Who'd have thought it? So that essentially is it. There's a tour of the case. What do you think? Let's be honest. For the money, if you look up now on somewhere like AliExpress, Amazon, whatever, feel free to do it now. Open up another tab. Find a addressable RGB 200mm fan. That is actually in stock, and I wouldn't guarantee, but I would be very, very confident that you're going to be paying at least £15, at least. And if you also look at the price of a 140mm addressable RGB fan, you're going to be looking somewhere between £8 and £15 also, in my opinion. So if you put that into the mix, so say for argument's sake, this is a tenner. Say for instance in the back, we'll say that one's a tenner as well, just for argument's sake. So 20 quid for fans, a fan hub which you could value at, I don't know, £5 or something, for £25. So when you're paying like £35, £36 for this case, essentially you're getting the case for £10 or thereabouts. Or if you want to go the other way and say, okay, so the actual metal bit itself, the case, the structure is kind of 20 quid, and the fans you're getting for like £7 a piece. If you put it into those kind of terms, 35, 36 quid for a case is insane value for money.
Blake's put CCL 1309, but I'm not sure what for.
Which, if you think that, I don't know, well, oh, the fans, so CCL are doing the fans 1309, so say 13 quid, so 10 quid, argument's sake, so 10 quid for that, say 7 quid for the smaller one, 17 quid, so 20 quid for the case. I think for 20 quid, that is madness. If you think, realistically, most of the supply chain somewhere along the lines are making a few quid profit on this. So you've got the distributor, sorry, you've got the manufacturer, you've got the distributor, then you've got your local distributors, then you've got your retailer. So there's 4 people taking a cut out of the price of this. So what do you think this costs to actually make and to sell? 20 quid? That seems insane. But certainly for 30, somewhere between 35 and 40 quid, well, I'm not happy, but there isn't a lot else on the market. That's something which, sorry about the noise, that is something which actually does come into this massively, is what else can you get for the money in micro-ATX? I'm open to suggestions. If any of you guys and girls out there have got other suggestions for micro-ATX cases which you think might benefit us more, or are going to give us better value for money, or more features, or whatever, even if it's just got like a USB-C on the front or something, just to separate it a bit from the norm, please do let me know in the comment section, whether you're watching this as the live stream, whether you're watching the video on demand, let me know. I don't know. Jason Wood says, yay, 4-0 England, next match Denmark. Hey, I was not far out. I did say it was going to be 5-0. I wish I'd have put a bet on now. Oh, sorry. Chair's all tangled in my microphone. Oh my God, what's going on here? Okay, I'm free. I'm free. So let's have a look at your chat now and see what's been going on. So Blake Cliff says overclockers, £12.99. Postage and packing to add on, so a couple of quid on that as well. Ugly Bob saying easy DIY fab 200mm ARGB case fan, 800mm, 800 RPM, 200mm, 5V ARGB, 18 quid. So yeah, it's pretty much what I was thinking. The CCL ones, I looked at them before because I wanted to get replacements for my GameMax F15, and the CCL ones never seemed to be in stock at the time, but if they've got them in stock then that's good. Markovsky says great for 35 quid. Mark Berry says, unfortunately the controller that comes with the Kolink Citadel case doesn't control the fan speed. Now that was the problem before that I found with the Citadel. I ended up just plugging that in, using that as RGB, and then plugging the fans straight into the motherboard, which actually ironically was the same motherboard which was in the PC we're selling. So yeah, it's funny how things come around. Aletta says, looks like a good case for the price. It's just so small. I'd imagine as well, in America, because obviously in general, as I've learnt from the TV and the movies, American houses are massive. So a micro-ATX to them is like an ITX to us. Much like their cars, those big huge cars, and we have these little cars which we think are big, but they're actually very small. Markovsky says £17.40 postage if it's the overchargers. Rick says, and you also get that glass, yeah, of course, the glass side panel. How much is a glass side panel worth? Or not how much is it worth, how much do you think it actually costs? And little things like the engineering in it. So you've got the magnets as well. You've got this handle, which is finished in it's like a nickel plated handle, although it is a little bit stiff. So yeah, there is that to it. Slight smoke tint to it. But yeah, I think for 35 quid, this is insane. It really is. If the Kolink Citadel mesh was the same price, I think I would probably go with the Kolink purely for the look. I do like the look of the Kolink. Kolink, if you're watching. And there's a super chat come in. I should have acknowledged that immediately. Ugly Bob says £5. Says never mind cases. Let's see a twerking toy dog. Oh God, yeah, the twerking toy dog. I put that down. Oh, there it is, down there. Ugly Bob, being Ugly Bob, finds all kinds of weird and wonderful things on Tinterweb. And it looks like we might have a new mascot. So we got, I'm going to call this dog Bob the dog.
Uggs.
Yeah, Uggs. There's Uggs. Uggs in real life. I think it's going to take more batches than that because he's got a big ass.
I think it's only 2 when I looked, but it might not be those ones.
It's got 2 battery compartments.
Oh, is it?
One for each buttock cheek. Incredible. Kenny D says the Aerocool Trinity Mini from CCL would be another shout for a case that comes close in value for 30 quid. I did look at the Aerocool Trinity Mini. They do the Aerocool Trinity Mini in 3 versions. So they do the Trinity Mini standard, no fans. They do the Trinity Mini RGB, which comes with a fixed RGB fan, and they do the Trinity Mini addressable RGB. That is the one I wanted, but that one's extremely expensive. It's like 55 quid, I think, if you want it with the addressable RGB fan. I did look at that one. That was actually on my list. And actually, Aerocool were supposed to be sending us a bunch of stuff, which they haven't as of yet. The bastards. Lovely people, Aerocool TW. I'll do my Jeremy. Thank you. I'll do my Jeremy Clarkson smile. Oh dear, what has my life come to? Oh, talking about what is actually our life's come to. Interesting little fact today. I was looking through. I do like looking at stats and facts and figures, and I was looking today. I was watching some Linus Tech Tips, as I do. I very much enjoy watching Linus Tech Tips, and I don't mind saying it. And I looked at their stats for subscribers. And I know YouTube at the moment are having a little bit of a cull and getting rid of like bogus accounts and all that. But for the last 14 days, we have generally beaten Linus Tech Tips in terms of subscribers since June the 20th. If you don't believe me, you can quite easily get yourself TubeBuddy, which is a free add-on for thing. There's a link in the video description, and you can use it to compare stats. And if you go in, you can see that LTT the last few days have not had a great deal of subs, because obviously they've been losing a lot of kind of fraudulent or fake accounts or whatever. But it's actually made our stats look great. So we're currently competing or possibly doing slightly better than Linus Tech Tips in terms of subscriber count. So their loss is clearly our gain. How does this work?
Yeah, but everyone is sub to him, like everyone.
Bob?
Yeah, turn it on.
I did. I just switched the turn on thing.
Let me do it. You've got fish eyes.
Hello?
Don't be mean.
McFly? Does it need music?
No, he needs me.
No. Didn't even respond to the silent dog whistle.
I need a screwdriver there.
It's there. Thank you. Okay, so let's have a look. Mark Barry says Clarkson's Farm is great. I actually started watching some of it, and I think it's one of those things I want to sit down and watch with Kath, and we'll have a night off one night and sit down and watch a ton of Jeremy Clarkson's on the farm. Kath actually has got somewhat of a farming history. Slightly. Her father was, as a boy, was a farmer. Worked on a farm. So. Did your uncle as well? No, your granddad, wasn't it?
Oh, my granddad's...
Your granddad lived on that farm. And they had...
My dad, yeah.
Yeah, your dad. I was kind of listening.
But my other granddad.
Dave Burns says, I enjoy Linus but haven't watched anything in a few weeks. I think...
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
My granddad's brother.
That might be it.
Donkeys
Possibly.
at Mangotsfield.
Partly. I'm thinking if you lived in the West Country, anywhere time between kind of like the wartime, then you probably had a farm. That was the thing. Ugly Bob says, you've broke it already. Jason Woods, give us a pound. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Blake Antcliffe says, batteries polarity correct.
Yeah.
Well, I think so. They should be. Kath, they were correct, weren't they? Are they flat batteries?
No, they're new ones.
Brand new. Bob, have I got to do anything to this dog? Have I got to take it for a walk?
Little outfit you can take off.
Is there anything in there you got to do? You sure you haven't got to say like a magic phrase to it or something? Bob, you better have a look on the listing to see if I've got to do any magic tricks. Ollie and Mac Games says, hello. How you doing, Ollie and Mac? Ollie Mac, England 4-0, yes. Oh, Ugly Bob says, have you fed it? No, I haven't fed it. There's nothing about it. No one mentioned anything like that in the rules and regulations. I am sad about that. Ollie Mac says, England won. Yes, I know. When England win, it's always very much a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because you kind of get that thought behind you. Winning so convincingly is such a bad thing. Because it kind of thinks, oh yeah, it'd be great for the next game. And you're kind of on the back foot then. Neil Longman says you've got to take the pooch for a walk first. Well, Kath's trying to fix it, so we'll see what happens there. Oh, Kath, press its left paw. It says.
Okay. I have to work out my left and right.
Unfortunately, Kath doesn't have LNR written on her wrists, so bear with.
I'm not doing my driving test.
Yeah, she hasn't done a driving test in about 30 years.
What's this right for?
What the actual hell? Okay, sorry.
Flamey look.
Right, before Bob, we're gonna give Bob the centre of attention. So let's get rid of this.
Didn't they have any Beavis and Butthead on? They could have done it with their head.
Oh, I hate this microphone. Right, so, ladies and gentlemen, oh dear, here it is. So, does that head turn? Yes, it does. A little bit of turn in, get a bit of boot. So apparently we have to press the left pull.
Yeah, it's like a bubble. It's the wrong one. It's his left, not
Oh yeah, I
yours.
can feel it. Yeah, his left is my left because
He's left-handed.
yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here.
You not like him, Flame?
Wow, does it do another tune or is that the? Does it do another tune? Let's find out. Another tune. Okay. More. What the hell is going on? Okay, that's enough of that. Oh my goodness. Okay. This has just become Austin Evans' channel, hasn't it? It really has. What do you think, Kath? What do you think?
I don't think the cats were too impressed. They both.
The cats did not seem to be overly impressed, to be fair. Oh well. Right, sit over there and behave. Stop twerking. Let's see what you think. Mike said, sorry, Nick says, Mike's, start again. Nick Barnes says, that his wife says, your turn, Mike. No, definitely not. Jason Woods, is that how you dance, Mike? No, my dancing will be considerably worse than that. Ollie Matt Game says, what case won? Well, I don't think it's really down to me. I I think it's down to you guys, but I personally, I think the first player DKD3-A is a extremely solid contender. Actually, the one thing I wanted to check is if this is a recent reduction or whether it's pretty much always been that price. So I'm going to click on the camels, and so yes, that case has normally been 44.99 would have been the regular price. So there was a price drop relatively recently. So that does put it into a slightly different ballpark. At 45 quid, that opens up a lot more options.
You never put that power supply in either.
Oh, on the case?
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't. I'll have to do that. I will do that. So yeah, for 45 quid, at that point, I'd be looking at the. Actually, how much is the Kolink? Yeah, the Kolink Citadel mesh. It's probably not going to be the cheapest on Amazon because Amazon are a little bit pricey on that. If you're thinking of getting the Citadel mesh, actually, you're saying that if you're thinking of getting anything at all, purchasing anything, you're looking at Amazon, you're thinking, oh, I'll try and do mic and CAF solid. I'll try and use the affiliate links. Obviously, do check around because although we put the affiliate links in and at the time they're generally a good price, we can't keep an eye on it all the time. So do shop around, have a look elsewhere. Kind of in the UK, you've got Overclockers, eBuyer, Scan, AWDIT, etc., etc. There's loads of companies you can try. So just because we put the link there doesn't necessarily always mean it's the cheapest. So definitely click on the link and have a look, but maybe open up some other tabs to make sure that you're definitely getting the best bargain. Because I'd hate to think that you're following the kind of our links, thinking you're getting what is definitely the best bargain when it might not be. That's just being completely honest with you right now.
Can you have a look? I put C there. Is it? Shawnee?
Kolink. Hang on, I'll have a read. Oh my god, I can't even, if I could spell. Citadel Mesh RGB, let's have a look. So, shish kebabs. So that is not a great price right now. So the Kolink Citadel Mesh avec panneau vitoire noir. That's French, you know. That's from ADMI. So 65 quid. I'm sure you can find it cheaper than that.
Someone in the comments said that they only paid £60 at Christmas.
That isn't so good. Ugly Bob says, so where are you going to put it? The dog? Good question. It's going to have to go somewhere, actually. It is blue and white, so it is in the team colours.
But they can't see that, because you've got to do the camera off.
Yeah. Got a mascot. Wonder if we get an actual Mike's Unboxing logo stuck on there.
Oh, yeah.
We could do it on the printer. We've got those iron-on transfers, haven't we?
Can you?
There's a video in the making.
You'd have to buy an iron.
And unfortunately I have to move this watch off there, which Bob also sent. Shauna.
Go up.
Shauna.
They're selling a PC.
Oh yeah. Shauna. Hi Mike, I'm selling a PC, ASRock Fatality ITX AC, nice little board. 16 GB cleave, 3200, blah blah blah. EJ for what's a fair? I don't know what a fair price would be for that. I got to be honest with you. If it's the Fatality ITC, the B350, B350 version, that might harm it a little bit. If it's the B450, then I don't know. It's difficult to say. Probably about 600, maybe 7. I don't know. I'd have to look into it. It's difficult to say. Actually, EVGA power supply. Yeah, probably about 5, maybe 6. Prices at the moment are kind of on the slip, which potentially I think, if you guys remember, probably about a month ago in a stream, and no, actually it might have been even longer than that, I did say in a stream that I kind of predicted that things would slightly get back to normal kind of July, August, September. Now we're just hitting the first week of July And already there's stories out there that graphics cards are becoming in stock. Actually, some of the guys have been posting on Discord this week links to suppliers where graphics cards haven't been as sculpted as they were. So there's stock availability. The prices are less sculpted at the moment as well. So potentially things are kind of coming to an ease at the moment. So I think at the moment we're probably just past or just on the crest of where prices have been at their peak. And I'm pretty confident that they're going to start tumbling now. Obviously, there's still going to be people that are selling stuff on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, all those kinds of things, where they're going to try and still maintain those prices. But I think if we wait a little while, it's going to drop. Yes, Gaff?
Ollie and Mac gamers. Go down to the
All right. Okay, sorry, I've got to read a thing.
They were a winner for the bolt tune.
Ah, I understand. So yeah, Ollie and Matt Gaming was the winner of the Boltune head. Games, sorry, were the winners of the Boltune head things, which were bloody good. I thought they were fantastic.
They said they sound as good as AirPod Pros.
I honestly thought they were amazing sounding. It was just one of these ridiculous things where they were reduced to such a bizarre price that it just seemed crazy not to get them. Ugly Bob says, I saw it. Bob the dog. That is going to be our mascot, I think. You're happy with that, Kath?
Bob? Yeah.
Bob the dog. Ugly Bob.
What suggestions for names?
Yeah, we could all have some suggestions for names. I'm Bob the dog. That's like might be troublesome for me to say after a while. While Bill says, when England win in soccer, there will always be a sense of amazement. Yes, there definitely is. I've missed some things. Markovsky says you should just stick the sticker on the arse, not the jacket. Yeah. Mike's unboxing on the intro with the logo going. Yeah, that'd be great.
I reckon Flynn will beat it up in the night.
Yeah, I think I'll come down and it'll be ripped to shreds by the cats. Matthew Day saying the Kolink Inspire Series K2 ARGB micro-atx at 2622 at eBuyer. Looks like a hot box though. That is often the problem. Patrick LaBelle says, evening Mike and Kath. How you doing, Patrick? Senna Keller. Shauna Kelly. Sorry. Put some phonetics in there. It says the B450, but I got it for steel. Yeah, it's probably... PC pricing's all over the place. But PC is only ever ultimately worth what you can get for it, or what someone's prepared to pay for it. With the RX 570, which is actually still a pretty decent card, yeah, I should... If it's in good condition, 500 quid I would imagine, if not more.
You've got it nearer than me.
Shawnee Kelly.
Cool.
Thank you. Aletta says, I've seen a few RX 6700s for $850 on PC Part Picker. Ugly Bob says, I'd be honoured if you called it Alfie Dog. Alfie Dog. Can I remember that? That might work. Alfie Dog. I might have to print it on there so I remember it. Markovsky says, call it Brian after the Family Guy dog. That's not a bad idea, actually. Okay. The Ordinary Dude says, I don't imagine GPU prices will get back to near MSRP until after the new year. I don't know, I'm still confident. I'm a bit of a roll because I thought England were going to win 5-0 and they won 4-0, so I wasn't a million miles out. So I would hazard a bet that GPU prices will be at MSRP or very, very close, within a few percent, by September. I think September at the most is going to be it. One thing, because we've got the Windows 11 debacle at the moment with the TPM, etc., it's a very unusual time yet again, because there's going to be a lot of people that are thinking, I've got some spare cash, I want a Windows 11 machine, my PC hasn't got TPM or doesn't appear to be, or they don't know how to enable it in the BIOS, I'll just buy a new PC. I know there's going to be people that will do that. I know for a fact that will happen. Because some people just don't care. They just want it. They're not bothered about the money, they're not bothered about the hassle or whatever the expense. They just want it. So that is definitely going to happen. So that in itself is going to fuel the second-hand market again. So Windows 11, which we feel possibly will be released on November the 11th, I'd be amazed if it wasn't. I'm not a gambling person, but I would certainly say that November the 11th is too much of a thing for Microsoft to turn around and say, nah, Windows 11, we'll release it on the 10th of September or whatever. It's unlikely. Yeah, at 9 o'clock. So, yeah, it's unlikely.
At 8 minutes past.
Windows 11, 11.11 on the 11th day, 11th month of
21.
the 11th year of the 10s. This kind of thing. It's, yeah, there's too much there to miss out on. 11.11 is going to be the launch. I would put money on it. And also as well, the TPM situation for businesses which are going to upgrade, because there will be some businesses that are going to want Windows 11 on their machines for that day. Some businesses can get away with it. There's not many, but there are some that will want to do that. So giving enough time for motherboards and BIOS upgrades and this, that and the other to all kind of mystically align, I think November is a pretty good time scale. That gives, what, 4 months? What do we know? July, August, September, October, November. So yeah, arguably approximately 4 months. So that gives Microsoft 16 weeks roughly to sort their act out, make my antivirus work every time I reboot. If you're using Windows 11, let me know. Does your antivirus every single reboot say that it's not active? Mine is, and it's driving me insane. It's only on this PC, and actually it's done it now. It's disabled itself again. Escaf, what's that?
Thanksgiving's 25th.
Turn it on, damn virus and threat protection. Damn it. Anyway, I went off the boil there.
A bit early.
Yeah, Dave Burns says 11.11.21. Got it.
What rate?
Aletta's disabled her TPM 2.0 because I don't want Windows 11, lol. I'm actually genuinely considering doing a video on that. How to prevent you getting Windows 11. Although I think most people probably won't get it anyway because TPM will be turned off in their BIOS. But I think for people that have got laptops, pretty much all laptops, OEM stuff, OEM machines, will come with TPM and secure boot enabled these days. So potentially they're going to be the ones that are going to need it. Markovsky says anything below Intel 7th gens are not supported, I read. That is including 7th gen as well. It's 8th gen or above. So anyone who's on 7700K, not going to happen. Which is terrible, really. Ordinary Dude says September would be nice, but I just don't see it happening. I think it's unlikely.
But would they do it and say about holidays when that's
Yeah,
Thanksgiving?
they said it's going to be ready for the holidays. Thanksgiving is the 25th of November this year. So if they release Windows 11 on the 11th, that gives them approximately, what's that, 2 weeks to then sell a ton of PCs for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. Realistically, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I guess really from that whole month, the 25th of November through to the 25th of December is essentially the holiday period for pretty much, I would say, most of the kind of this hemisphere. So kind of Europe, Australia, America, kind of all in around that region. I guess there's some that don't, but that is the holiday period, isn't it, over the kind of November, December months. So yes, I think when they said it's going to be ready for the holiday period, I think that is pretty much what they were aiming at. Shauna Kelly says, Shawnee Kelly, sorry. Don't know if you covered this earlier as I joined late, but have you seen any performance differences with Windows 11? I'll be completely honest with you, I've spent very, very little time on it. I've played a little bit of Counter-Strike, on the PC behind. I've been looking at trying to fix this antivirus thing. That's what I've been spending most of my time. And I'm really struggling to work out what's going on. I've changed services, I've reinstalled, I've reset the antivirus section. I mean, I looked in the BIOS appeared, sorry, not the BIOS, I've looked in the registry. The registry appears to have the right key settings. I looked in the services, for some reason it's set to manual and I cannot get it to set to auto. It refuses to set, and I cannot change that service. Can't even get it to kind of, what's the word? I can't take ownership of that service to actually make it do what I want it to. So it might just be a bug. I need to have a look into it a little bit further, to be honest with you. So in terms of performance, I think that machine is probably a bad one to even compare on, because there's something a little bit screwy about it after the upgrade. The fresh install I did from the dev edition seemed hugely faster than that. So, I don't know. There are some features which aren't ironed out. The dark mode thing doesn't work properly, or at least on this machine. So again, it could be just down to this specific setup because of the upgrade. And I've got to be honest, with this machine behind, this was this kind of streaming setup. I also use it whenever I'm doing those how-to videos and you just see the full screen. Generally I'm filming on this. So this is piped through to OBS into my other PC, and I do all kinds of weird stuff on this. So I've done loads of things like DDUs, registry fixes, Bing removals. I've played with this thing an amazing amount of time. It's been going for about 2 years now through different motherboards and setups and what have you. So it is probably a little bit screwy. I really do need to do a reinstall, which I might well do very shortly. So yeah, stay tuned for that. How to reinstall Windows 11. Uh-oh, cat's fighting. Stop fighting, otherwise Alfie will kick your ass. Or shake his ass. Flame will be scared.
You can show them back away.
Flame is a bit scared.
Oh, he's run away.
Simon Arden is with us. Simon Arden is... we're pleased to welcome Simon as actually one of the newest recruits to our expert section on our Discord. So please do come across to the Discord if you've got any problems with your PC, or you want to get some ideas on how to put together a really awesome build. Simon is your man. Please bombard him with questions. He loves that. And he loves it when people aren't grateful after as well. So make sure you show absolutely no gratitude whatsoever.
Between him and C McKnight, there'd be like loads of bargains.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Between Simon and C McKnight, those two guys, insane levels of commitment to finding bargains online. So if you're in the UK, which is generally where our Discord is kind of aimed at, obviously we do find other bargains elsewhere, but generally, if you're UK based and you want to pick up a bargain, the Discord bargain section is awesome. The amount of things that I've had to spend money on purely because C McKnight has posted it, and it's like, damn you man, I don't even need the thing, but at that price I've got to buy it. I have to buy it. Hence why I've got 3 Nintendo 512GB SSDs out there, which I do not need. Anyway. Ugly Bob says Simon Arden is a flipping legend on Hot UK deals. He certainly is. And we are so privileged to have him on board. So thank you, Simon. We do appreciate it. Aletta says that the 6700 XT is about 25 to 30% faster than the 5700 XT. That's about all I need to get the games I play to run smoother. Personally, from my point of view, I am actually finding now I'm using some of the footage from my DJI Pocket 2, which records in 1080p 50 frames per second or 2.7K at 50 frames per second. And when I drop that into a timeline with an existing high-res 1080p footage from my Lumix camera, when I'm scrubbing through, or even just sometimes cutting out sections of video, I am starting to find my PC struggling a little bit, dropping a couple of frames. Now I do have it on high quality playback, full resolution, so it's probably not the best of ideas, but the 5700 XT is starting to show signs of age on my PC, which I'm very, very sad about, so I might need an upgrade when the time comes.
3600 Ryzen for £146.
That's a good price. Good price. Novatech are actually pretty decent as well. Dory's with us and says, "Booze, Mike and Calf." How you doing, Dory? Neil Longman, Novatech are selling the 3600 Ryzen for 146. Just ordered one today. That's a very good price. I think that's the lowest I've seen.
Paul Bakewell wants to see Alfie.
Paul Bakewell, this is for you, my friend.
I don't really want to fight.
That's enough of that. Alfie, stop it. There you go, William. And there you go, Paul.
Jason Woods is off.
Thanks, Jason. Eddie says, "I got the Boodbat gaming mouse the other day on eBay for £4. Great mouse."
Boobat.
Boodbat, what is that? Not sure what that is. DCat says, "Lol, sorry, I just don't care. I just don't even know what the poll is for, lol." Don't blame you. The poll currently stands at 60%. So the poll is, do you think England will win? Obviously it's irrelevant now because they have. So I should actually end that poll. End poll. I don't know where that goes actually when you end the poll. What happens? That's a new feature in YouTube Studio I found today. No idea. Can I do it again? No. Don't know why it offered me it. Just said, "Oh, do you want to start a poll?" It's like, okay then. What is that playing in the front room?
I don't know, you got her to do something.
Did I say, "Hey Google"?
No, but she just responds. She does it in the middle of the night.
Kenny D says, "Has anyone seen how low some GPU prices are now on the used market? RTX 26s are almost MSRP on eBay." Simon Arden says, "Gossip," inverted commas. AWD again have stepped on their own toes this past 2 months and they've reduced pre-builts with case deals inside them. There we go. Aletta says, "My 57er XT is water cooled and is beginning to struggle playing Wreckfest at 4K, well, just over 4K, or just under 4K, whilst recording my races." Yeah, that's not entirely unexpected. You might probably want to get a, maybe get an external capture card and record to another PC, take the load off. Although you probably could try recording in H.265 format rather than H.264, because it does seem to do better in H.265, I believe. Ah, poll complete. There we go. I've seen it now. Awesome. Yeah, I think I paid about 160 for my 3600. Now short stocks in the UK due to a China issue with rates. Expect low-cost cases to get some whack. Oh dear. So, quickly, if you want to get a case, click on the links in the video description and grab one. Quickly. DCat says, "Win what?" There was football. It's kind of a slightly biggish deal. Ugly Bob says it does that into chat apparently. It does, yeah. Okay. Why will it not let me do another one though? I want to do another one. Swines. Pierre Play says, "Okay, here now. There was a highly important football match on LOL." Shawnee says, "My 1600 XT is struggling at 1440p with ray tracing on in Watch Dogs Legion." I still haven't played that. I need to play that. 1440p is my fave, don't really like 4K. I still don't have a 4K TV or a 4K device.
Or a working TV.
Or a working TV for that matter, yeah.
Not as a TV.
What resolution is my iPhone? That's got to be nearly 4K. That's the closest I've got to 4K. Markovsky says front USB-C a deal breaker for me on cases now. I'm still. I keep on saying it. I know when I do these case reviews and motherboard reviews, I always talk about USB Type-C front panel connections. I am still yet to find a single device that I can't use on USB-C that I can't use on USB Type-A. Now there is one cable that I'm aware of in this entire house which I cannot use on USB Type-A without an adapter, and that is, I'm going to grab it. I know exactly where it is because it's been sat there wasting away. Is this one? Sorry, Alfie. This is a Lightning to USB Type-C. So this is the cable you'd get with AirPods and possibly some iPhones, I guess. But this is iPod charging cable. Not iPod, AirPods. That's what I meant. So AirPod charging cable. This is the only cable in the house that I cannot use without a USB-C because of the Lightning connector. I would love to be able to use it, but I don't really want to get a case with USB Type-C front panel purely so I can charge some AirPods, which I can probably charge wirelessly on my wireless charging mat. So I'm still kind of not really bothered. I haven't got any devices which will saturate USB Type 3 Gen 2, whatever it is these days. I literally haven't. The closest I come to that is with one of these, the Silicon Power portable SSD. That's got a maximum read and write speed because of the technology inside it of 450 megabytes per second. So USB 3.2, I think it is. Well, it comes with both. No, actually, it only comes with a USB. So this is actually a USB-C device. So it's got USB-C on that side. But the actual cable to plug into the PC is Type A, 3.2. So again, this is probably one of the fastest devices I've got for storage, and still makes no difference at all. All of my USB capture devices, the Elgato HD60S, it's got USB Type-C on the main end, like the incoming end, but the other end is USB Type-A, which is in my laptop now. And actually my laptop hasn't got USB Type-C anyway, so I would be royally screwed. So I don't know, let us know in the comments, what is your opinion on USB Type-C? Is it one of those things which really has had an extremely slow adoption rate? I still don't feel that it's entirely necessary, yet I do make a big deal about it in reviews, which I'm starting to think to myself now, actually why? Why am I making such a big deal? It isn't a deal breaker because you can get adapters if you need to, and if you're concerned about bandwidth saturation, you'd probably have to use something like a NVMe M.2 drive caddy, and even then I think you're probably still going to get pretty decent speeds with USB Type-A 3.2 gen. I'm not an expert on that field. I don't transfer enough data on a regular enough basis, even though on a daily basis I transfer data from my Lumix camera to my NAS and back to my PC, but even that at 100 megabytes per second is more than adequate. By the time I've walked from one place to another, generally it's transferred. So I guess if you're transferring an absolute bulk of data, then kind of, yeah, that would make sense. But I'm not sure. I suppose for external monitors might be a thing. But on a PC, would you use a USB Type-C front header for an external monitor? I don't know. Probably not. Markovsky. Oh, I have an NVMe cloner and it's a pain fiddling around in the back of the case. Okay. Yeah, that is a good example. It is a particularly niche example, but it is a good example. Blake says a new case must have USB Type-C. For me, if buying today. Also mustn't have any Molex. Yeah, I get that. DCAT says, okay, I had to Google it. England versus Scotland tonight. Yeah, sounds like fun for everyone. Good luck. No, it was England versus the Ukraine. England, Scotland was a week ago or more, wasn't it? I can't remember when it was now. Ugly Bob says, I have one on my work laptop that I connect USB, HDMI and Ethernet hub to. Yeah, for laptops, I think a laptop not having USB Type-C in 2021 is a little bit of a cardinal sin. It really should have it for the additional monitor or for those breakout boxes. Like you said, for stuff there, that makes an absolute ton of sense. What's going on there? Lunatic cats. For a desktop PC, I think is a very different matter now. In fact, actually today, I had a conversation with David Aitken, who is a regular on here and also in our Discord, and he was kind enough to lend me his Gigabyte B550 Aorus Master for doing the unboxing review, which some of you have probably already seen. I think has that gone out yet, Kath?
What's that?
The B550 Aorus Master, hasn't it?
No, not yet, I don't think.
No? Okay, maybe that hasn't gone out yet. Anyway, one of the key things about that particular board is it's got everything. It's got M.2s up the wazoo, loads of RGB, amazing VRMs, like crazy level VRM, but it didn't have a front mounted USB Type-C connector.
No, not yet.
And I thought at the time that might catch David out, because I know the sort of cases he likes going for, generally pretty high-end, classy units, which will probably have USB Type-C. I'm pretty sure he had a Corsair, I think it's a 580X or something. Nice little case, had front USB Type-C. And looking at that board and then thinking he's not going to go with that. And he's not going to want to get an adapter to adapt USB Type-C to the kind of 30-pin one in the motherboard. And I think I might have been right. So he messaged me a little bit earlier saying, I'm not too sure about that board. I found this other one. What do you think of it? So yeah, I think not having USB Type-C, for some people, is definitely going to be a deal breaker. Not actually having it on the motherboard. Not actually having it on the case, I don't know so much. Having the ability to do it at a later date, I think, is more important than actually having it on the case. But again, let me know what you think. If USB Type-C on a case is something that you would say yes or no to a PC on, let me know. That's the sort of thing I do need to kind of keep in mind for you guys and girls when you're watching when I'm doing case reviews, and how much emphasis I would weigh on that being not part of the I/O. So,
Right.
Simon Arden says, RTX 3060 laptops are a nice price, but they need to stop doing 8 gig. Driving me insane seeing them. Just add another 30 quid. Boom. That's always been a thing for laptop sales. I don't know why it is. Even this one, when I got it almost 2 years ago now, it came with 8 gigs of RAM, which if you've got an APU, which this has, immediately is sharing some RAM, and 8 gigs of RAM is not enough really for Windows 10. 16 is, well, it'll work, but it's not an ideal experience. Pierre Play says, if we're talking front panel, I never use it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've yet to find, I'm not sure what case I have actually plugged some. I might, P400A, has that got front mounted USB-C? That might have. And I may have used it once on there, I think. I'm not too sure. Jad 2016 says, my phone charges via USB Type-C, so it's useful on my H510 Elite. I think for phone charging is probably where USB Type-C comes into its own. Although, saying that, this week, the lovely Ugly Bob, sponsor and proud owner of Alfie the dog, sent us an amazing mouse mat, which the review is going to be coming out in the next few days. It is a addressable RGB mouse mat with built-in Qi charging facility, so wireless charging. It's a wide format mouse mat, 800 by 300, so very similar to, which one did we see like that before? Oh, actually it's under the desk, isn't it? Where are we? I think that was 800 by 300, yeah, the Surefire one, the Silent Flight RGB 680 mouse pad, I think that was the same size. It's a bit smaller, might have been smaller. Can't see the size on here, I can't remember them. Doesn't say. Why does it not say on there? You'd think they'd put the measurements on there. That would make a lot of sense. No. Anyway, so basically it's a wide format or wide mouse mat. So you can have your full keyboard, you can have a mouse, and then you've got a charging plate on the side for wireless charging. So literally just put your phone down on the charging plate, saves you having to reach around or find the cable for your phone. Absolutely brilliant. Definitely it is the way of the future, my friends. If you like RGB, you like mouse mats, and you like wireless charging, totally worth getting. And actually, let me see if I can, I'll quickly get a picture of it. So if you're not kind of...
P400 does not have one.
P400A not have one? What case would it have? I'm trying to think what case I had which had that. It was one of them recently.
Paul Baker would guess that was Paul's dog. No, not Paul's, but Bob's dog.
Bob's dog. Oh God, what am I looking for now? Oh yeah, Jim. Gee, there we go. So there we go. That is the that is the telltale sign. Look at that. Wireless charging, RGB gaming mouse pad, 10 watt fast charge, Jim LED mouse mat, 800 by 300 by 4 mil. How cool is that? And it actually doesn't look as cool as it is actually on that picture. It really doesn't. So changeable RGB with touch sensor, and you got the Qi charger. What an absolute amazing idea. So cool. And you can charge up AirPods, Apple Watch. Actually, Apple Watch is the one I haven't tried yet, because Apple Watch is often a pain in the backside to actually get it to charge on anything. 800 by 300. Thank you, Bob. Oh no, that's I was looking at another one, Silent Flight, which is from Surefire, which is not as cool. Sorry, Surefire. I'm not even sure if the review's gone out for that. Has that got review gone out for that, the Silent Flight?
I think so.
Probably has. I think. Oh yeah, because I did a group thing, didn't I, of all their peripherals.
Long time ago.
That was ages ago. So anyway, you get the general idea. I always say that, don't I? One thing a motherboard has to have is a postcode. That is a funny statement, because over here in the United Kingdom, postcode is basically your road, like a zip code.
Yeah, it's not even on that page.
Skystalker says P400A does not have a front USB-C. Oh, I'm trying to think, what case have I had with a front USB Type-C then? Couldn't have been a Lian Li, because that was quite basic, I think. There has been a case I've had in the not too distant past which had a front USB Type-C.
Mine?
No, it's not yours, because that's built on the same chassis. And it's GameMax, so it wouldn't have it on there because GameMax don't really get into that sort of stuff.
None of them work anyway.
No. I think the last one I can remember possibly would have been the InWin, the A1. InWin A1, I think that had USB type. Ah yeah, one of the InWin cases. The 103. William Bodie, so, that's it, Bob. I won't get involved in that question. So, yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I can think of anything else relevant to say. So we've kind of cleared up the micro-ATX case thing. I don't think, again, if you're watching right to the very end, if you're watching the video on demand, or even if you're in the chat now, please let me know in the comment section after the video's gone live, etc. If you find a micro-ATX case which you think is actually pretty decent and is within like a a regular human being's price level for micro-ATX, which is generally going to be a little bit cheaper, please do let me know in the comments. If it won't let you post the actual link, kind of take out something or put .com, like write .com at the end or something, or maybe just send me it to the email address. And I'll check out some micro-ATX cases, because there's actually, micro-ATX I think has got a future, definitely has got a future. And I think as well, in some areas where houses are getting smaller, personal spaces are getting smaller, people are starting to work from home more because of the whole thing that you're not allowed to say anymore. So smaller PCs are going to be a thing, especially as people start moving PCs into kind of the home office space, because the laptop just probably doesn't cut it anymore. Or maybe they just want Windows 11 and the laptop ain't compatible, so that is maybe a thing. So please, please do let us know, either on the Discord, in the chat here, or just send me an email and we'll take a look at some other micro-ATX cases, because I like them. I like them. I think it's a great form factor, and I think it's going to take a lot to beat the chassis, the kind of internal chassis, the layout of the Kolink Citadel mesh, and obviously the one we've looked at today, the first Player Gaming DK-D3 and its derivatives, which are all around the same chassis. So I think I've made my mind up. Obviously, I will be doing a build, well, not a build, I'll do a case swap. So I'm going to do a case swap between, obviously, the Tecware case, and I'm going to put it all into the new one, set it all up and go through the build process, let you know how easy it is to work with, show off the fans, the RGB, all that kind of stuff. Look at the airflow, may even get the ammo monitor out and measure the airflow inside, meters per second, all that kind of stuff. Take some temperature readings and see what it's like. So if you want to be watching that at some point in the near, if you want to watch that in some point in the near future, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the channel icon, and you'll be notified of future video releases. So I think that's going to pretty much wrap this one up. Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered most bases. Great job, England, on winning tonight. Let's keep that up, and let's be proud of our country. For those of you that are English, and for those of you that aren't English, and wherever you are, let's be proud of our countries. I know it's a weird thing these days to say that we should all be part of this kind of massive global community. Yes, we should be. Embrace everybody, but have pride in your own country, have pride in where you live, and have some pride in your PC as well, which is always nice. So thanks very much for taking part tonight, guys and girls. Thanks for the super chats, really do appreciate them. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we will catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching. And I've got to find the end button. I really must get one of those Elgato things so I can just press it. Night everyone, see you next time.